Hello, my name is Sophia King. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking all about crimping. Now, what is that? You may ask. It means to press to make wavy or bent. I made a stink in my first beading video that I wasn't going to work with clasps because they're difficult, but since then got into making mask chains, and you actually do need clasp for these because you need something to grab onto the mask. These are called crimp tubes, and this is the thing that you're going to press together to hold your clasp in place. In the beginning, I went to Walmart and I just bought the first gold thing I saw. These are no bueno. What I learned the hard way is that you cannot scrimp on crimp tubes, because if you buy something that is cheap, the thickness of the metal is too thin so that when you go in to crimp it, it's brittle, and so it can break at this stage, or when you round it, it can break. Then you have to start over again. How do you know if your crimps are good quality? The reviews, of course. I knew that I should get this one because it said it works with crimping pliers. In the same way that wires and beads come in different sizes, you'll also find that crimp tubes come in different sizes. You can find wire that will give you a suggestion of what crimp tube goes with this, and so this says number 2. That means you should use a 2mm. I have purchased a 4mm one before because I thought it would go better with some of my chunkier pieces, but I found that it's not very secure because it leaves too much space between the wire and the crimp so that it jiggles around. So 2mm is the way to go. Now that you have your crimp tube, what else do you need? I would suggest crimping pliers. There's one compartment that does, like I showed you with my hand, the crimping part, and then the other part that rounds it out so that it's held tight. It's not that expensive, and I think that it saves just a lot of time. I cannot imagine doing it with chain nose pliers, even though I do know that's an option. You just smush. I think it's a little bit clunky because the end product looks kind of like a rectangle or a square, and I would rather that it be discreet, which you can get with crimping pliers. Another useful tool to have is a flat nose plier. This is absolutely critical when you're handling jump rings, but also if you're dealing with a crimp cover. What is a crimp cover? It is a metal C-shaped thing that you round out with this plier. When it's finished, it should look like a bead. If my crimp cover is gold, then it'll look like a gold bead at the end instead of a piece of metal holding it there. I found that the flat nose plier is easier to adjust crimp covers than it is a chain nose plier. If you do decide to invest in some crimp covers, pay attention to sizing, because if you're using a 2mm crimp tube and then you buy a 2mm cover, that's not gonna cover your tube because it's exactly the same size. So you want to buy a size that is at least 1mm over, or even 2. Also, crimp covers are very tricky. I think there's a learning curve there. I wasted a handful just because I couldn't get it rounded and I just kept denting the thing. So be warned that you're not going to get a perfect circle right away. This is an area where I might say you can scrimp, because you can buy cheap crimp covers, practice, get your technique down, and then invest in some better quality ones for the future. I hope you learned a thing or two about crimping today. This took a lot of trial and error for me to learn because I didn't expect all the minute details and ways in which things can go wrong. I've shared with you everything I know about crimp tubes, covers, and pliers so that you don't have to go through the same mental frustration that I did of buying stuff that just doesn't work together. I hope that this was helpful, and I will catch you next time. Bye!